Alright, guys, I gotta be honest with you. I cannot stand football fans. Now, it is not all football fans. There are a lot of fans out there that I know personally and talk to that understand the game, that are very objective, that have the patience and understand what it takes to win in this league. They understand that players need time to develop, especially at the quarterback position. They understand when a quarterback's coming from college in his rookie season, he's going to be very raw. Not everyone can come in and have automatic success. They understand that it's going to take time for this quarterback. There's a lot of things they got to work on. Some guys need to work on their mechanics. Some guys need to work on their footwork. They got to learn the playbook. They got plays they got to work on. They got to be accurate down the field because some of them come out of college with accuracy issues. There are a lot of stuff that quarterbacks need to learn and work on in order to be great. Of course, you have intangibles, and that's what makes these players special, and you see these elite quarterbacks develop and come up, and all these all-time great players. Those intangibles allow these players to be special. That's what makes them unique. That's what turns them to all-time greats. However, if you want to be a starting caliber quarterback, you got to know the playbook. You got to be able to throw the ball down the field. There are a lot of stuff that it takes that you have to work on. Those are the skills you got to develop over time. And some players, it takes a couple years to do. However, a lot of NFL fans seem to have the patience level of a child. They do not give these quarterbacks time to develop. Case in point, Lamar Jackson. What else is this going to be about? I'm a Ravens fan, so you know I got to talk about Lamar Jackson. Good Lord, the hate that's getting thrown at this guy, I cannot believe it. You got people after one season. The guy's played 8 games in the league, guys. 8 games. And everyone's already labeling him trash. He's garbage. He's a bust. He's never going to be anything in this league. And it's honestly just terrible that they don't have the patience level to give a quarterback time to develop. It takes time to be great in this league. Not every quarterback coming out of college is going to be like Patrick Mahomes. You understand? And even Patrick Mahomes, it took him a year. He sat a year under Alex Smith, and he had some things he got to develop. Heck, he's still got some footwork issues he's got to work on. Patrick Mahomes is still developing, but he still went out there and played like an MVP. A lot of fans expect these young quarterbacks to come out of college and automatically put up an MVP-type season, get the team to the playoffs, and compete for a Super Bowl. But not all quarterbacks have that skill set. Not all quarterbacks are developed to that point where they can do that. Some of them take time, and they need those years to develop. Some can get it done in a couple months. Some it may take 1 or 2 years. But we have to be patient and allow these guys to develop. Lamar Jackson last season wasn't even supposed to play. Not at all. He was not supposed to play. In fact, most people said it would take him 2 years of sitting behind Flacco and maybe RG3 before he'd be ready. Because he had to develop. He was very raw as a passer. Instead, what happened? Halfway through the season, Flacco gets hurt. So this kid's got to come in week 11 and face NFL teams. And granted, you look at the stats, he was not spectacular. Dude threw 6 touchdown passes, had 3 interceptions. He ran for 5 touchdowns. He was not spectacular, okay? But at the end of the day, he won games. He helped this team get a 6-1 record when they were 4-5 in the season, and he helped push them into the playoffs and win the AFC North. And of course, you're going to have fans out there, they look at that and they're like, well, obviously, it's the defense. That #1 defense is what got him there. Lamar didn't do anything. Oh, really? You mean the same #1 defense that gave up 3 touchdowns in the first half to A.J. Green? When you had all those people in that comment section laughing at this defense when anyone said they were a top 5 defense? You mean that very same defense that gave up almost 400 passing yards to a rookie Baker Mayfield? That same defense that people said probably wasn't even top 10 and was overrated. Or how about that same defense in the same season that got destroyed by the Carolina Panthers? The same Panthers team who would get blown out by the Steelers the following week. When everyone in those comment sections were looking at this team like they were not going to make it, they were going to be a lottery team, this team was trash, this defense overrated, it's old. All the stuff people were saying. Then this kid comes in, helps them get into the postseason, all of a sudden, it's just all the defense. Okay, that makes sense. I'm not saying the defense didn't do anything. The defense had a lot to do with it because they really stepped in, they stepped up, and put in the work. But Lamar was a key piece in that because of the time management he was able to do. He was able to control the clock. He was able to put up points. He was able to move down the field, both with the passing and running game. He didn't pass much, but he was able to control the clock, give these veterans a rest, and they were able to come in and dominate. So he was a key piece in what helped them get to the playoffs. That's why when Jimmy Smith was yelling at those fans at the playoff games, he's the reason we're here. I 100% agree. Without Lamar coming in, we are not making the playoffs last year. But after 8 games, all of a sudden, the story's written on Lamar Jackson. He's a bust. He's not going to get better. Never mind the stories we're hearing about how he's in Florida working with his coach on his mechanics, on his footwork, to fix the fumbling issues, to fix his accuracy down the field. All the work he's putting out there to improve as a quarterback. Never mind all the facts that we're hearing some of the Ravens receivers are going to Florida to also work with them. Nope. All this development, all this work that he's putting in, he's still going to be a bust. He's not going anywhere, obviously. You know why? Because his story's been written. After 8 games in the NFL, we can automatically tell the career of a player. See, this is the exact type of thing that I look at, and I'm like, Peyton Manning couldn't play in 2019. Can you imagine a rookie Peyton Manning when he threw 28 interceptions? Can you imagine him playing in 2019? Good Lord, Nathan Peterman? Scoot over Nathan Peterman. Peyton Manning would be the laughingstock of 2019. I don't know if he would end up becoming a Hall of Famer. It's still very possible. But you look at his career, and early on with those Colts where he was getting those bad playoff losses, can you imagine him doing it present day in the NFL? He'd be a laughingstock. He'd be labeled a bust. He'd be trash. This is what fans have done. They don't get time for a quarterback to develop. Andrew Luck in his first playoff game. Go look at the stats. It was terrible. If he had those same playoff stats in 2018, bust. Can't do anything. Absolute trash. These are the type of fans we got to deal with. And thank God it's not all of them, because we got fans on YouTube here making videos that are very objective and understand the game and are able to be patient. And I love those people. And I talk with some of those people. They understand that it takes time for a quarterback. Not every quarterback can come into this league and have success. Automatically. It takes time. You've got to develop these skills. All I'm saying is, give these players a chance to develop, not just Lamar. Anyone who picks up Rosen, give Rosen a chance. Build around him. Give Sam Darnold a couple years. Give Baker Mayfield some more time so he can really show how elite he is. Give Josh Allen a chance. Let these young players grow and develop. That's all I'm asking. NFL fans are so impatient that they want these players to come in and automatically be great. That's not how it works. Some need to develop the skills to last here, and sometimes it takes years before they can do that. The way I always like to look at it is I give a quarterback 3 years in the league to prove that he deserves to be a starter, and 5 years total to prove that he deserves to be a franchise player. It takes time. You saw guys like Ben Roethlisberger. He proved that he was not only a starter but a franchise player in his first 5 years. Tom Brady, all these guys did that. Aaron Rodgers proved it. It takes time. You don't automatically come in and be an MVP. Not every quarterback is going to do it. But you got these NFL fans out here who have just the attention span of a child and the patience level of a child. They want it now. They want everything now. They want these quarterbacks to come out of college automatically and just be an elite quarterback in the National Football League. Against these veterans who've been here for 7-8 years and have played against elite quarterbacks. All of a sudden, these rookies are supposed to come in and just dominate. How is that fair? Can you give them time to develop? That's all we're asking. Give them time to develop. Do not write off a player based on 8 games. Do not write off a quarterback based on 1 season. It takes time. You look at guys like Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, who people are still writing off, and Jared Goff. Goff was labeled a bust his first year. Now he just got into the Super Bowl. Granted, he did not have a great performance, but he still at least got to the Super Bowl. And his stats last year? Man, you see how he was able to lead his team? They almost had the 1 seed in the NFC. They almost outbeat the Saints. And Jared Goff was a huge part of that. Give them time to develop. And Goff is only going to get better. Or at least we hope. We hope this Super Bowl experience is going to motivate him to develop and get even better. Give them time. A lot of good NFL fans understand that it takes time for a quarterback to be successful. But if you're already ready to label them a bust, then it's just terrible. All these people, all these fans that want the National Football League to be great, they want the games to be exciting, yet they don't want to give the quarterbacks a chance to develop. They're already ready to label them trash. And by the way, calling anyone trash at this point, any athlete trash at this point, is just garbage. Every single player in the National Football League has been called garbage. Even Tom Brady's been called trash. So at this point, that doesn't mean anything. A lot of NFL fans really need to reevaluate how they look at this thing, because you cannot expect this league to be great, yet you're not giving any chances to these young quarterbacks. Thank God none of these fans are actually head coaches or owners of any teams, because I'm telling you, this league would be 10 times worse off with these type of players. You know how many all-time greats from the past, you look at their stats as a rookie, you look at their stats within their first 3 years, and some of them are just terrible. They end up going to have Hall of Fame careers. It is a blessing we don't have fans like that running the National Football League, because this league would be absolutely atrocious. If you don't have the patience level to give a quarterback time to develop, then you're never going to hit on the quarterback. Your franchise will always be terrible. It's just sad, man. It's just sad that we have a lot of fans like that. And I understand not every quarterback is going to be a hit. I understand that. But at least give them the opportunity to see what they can do. In 3 years, if these guys can't prove themselves, get rid of them and move on. If I'm back here 2 years later and Lamar Jackson's out of the league, or he's no longer the starter for the Ravens, fine. It is what it is. He didn't pan out. We move forward. It's not that serious. But these fans, man, I can't stand NFL fans. I just cannot stand them. They're terrible. Not all of them, but the ones you really see, man, they're terrible. Just label them trash. They are an embarrassment to this league, honestly. Because you're not willing to give any player a chance to prove themselves. You're not willing to give any of them time to develop these skills, because it's not easy to play this game. And it takes a lot to be successful. It takes a lot to try and get to that elite level. A lot of hard work, a lot of studying you got to put into this game, and a lot of dedication. And to not give them a chance and an opportunity to show that, it's honestly disappointing. The fans are a disgrace sometimes, and I just can't stand them. I'm glad it's not all of them, but it is some of them. But on the bright side, they're not as bad as NBA fans. Good Lord, don't... Oh, NBA fans are... Oh, my God. Especially when you talk about LeBron.